Hi everyone, welcome back to Trees and Turtles. My name's Imogen. In today's video, I am talking about how to not let the news affect you. Because this channel also talks about mental health. If you are not already subscribed, be sure to do that. Give this video a thumbs up. Follow me on Instagram and let's get started. So often when we are very hyper-focused on productivity, and if you're watching this channel, you might be hyper-focused on productivity. That tends to come with a tendency. That was a hell of a sentence. Let's say that again. That tends to come with a tendency to want to be very politically aware or aware of current affairs, and this is good to an extent, but it can burn you out, especially if you've been reading the news and it seems to be like all doom and gloom, and it's like there's been a plane crash and the president is yelling at the other president, and there's more taxes, and oh look, there's a penguin that went extinct, and you read the news and you're like, oh my god, like this is so depressing. All I wanted was to be informed and now I've got depression. And how do we actually stay informed? How do we actually stay up to date without compromising our mental health? Because I'm someone who's very curious and I love to know what's going on in the world, but also I have multiple chronic mental health conditions. I have anxiety, I have depression, okay? And so I have to balance those things. And the first thing that you need to do if you want to not let the news affect you too much, but also stay informed, is limit your intake, okay? As with so many things in life, the answer is often balance. So read enough to know what's going on in general, but don't do a deep dive into anything which affects your mental health in a very negative way beyond what you can cope with. So there's two ways that I practice this. Firstly, I sign myself up for a news email summary. So basically that just takes the top stories and I can read it quickly, and I don't get bogged down in the endless rabbit hole of going onto the news website and clicking on a link and then clicking on another link and then clicking on another link, and then it's an hour later and I'm curled up in my bedroom crying because I'm overwhelmed and the world sucks. Okay, so I just read the email and then it gets to the bottom of the email and I'm like, right, that's the news, okay? Or you could listen to the radio, which has got the news digest for 5 minutes and then you're done. And that leads me nicely to my other point, which is set a timer, okay? So if you're going on a news website to get your news, or wherever you get your news from, set a timer and be like, I'm going to read the news for 5 minutes. I'm going to be focused about this. I'm going to look at all the top headlines and try and get a good understanding of what's going on, and then I'm going to put it down, I'm going to close the tab, I'm going to put it away, and that is the news for the day, okay? So limit your intake, whether that's through quantity, where you kind of baked it into your schedule, when I sign myself up with the email, or whether that's the sort of time limit. Either way, limit your intake and know when enough is enough, basically. Number two, focus on doing good as far as you're able and accept that some things are out of your hands. I used to put the weight of the world on my shoulders. I genuinely did. And I would read the news and I would think, oh, I have to do something about all of these problems. I have to fix all of these problems. Me, a 15-year-old girl, at the time I was, and I was like, I have to fix all of these problems myself and I have to do it now. In fact, I have to do it yesterday. And that stressed me the hell out because obviously I was putting so much this feeling of responsibility on myself, and obviously it's really important to do what you can, but you've got to be realistic about it, okay? So focus on doing good as far as you're able. So for me, that looked like getting into a career which could positively impact the areas that I was worried about, and it looked like, showing up to peaceful demonstrations sometimes, and it looked like, doing all of these things, talking to my friends about issues, okay? So it really is really important to read the news, but not to absorb the entire amount of responsibility onto yourself, because you literally cannot solve every problem, okay? There are some things that are out of your hands. If there is a war, you cannot stop the war single-handedly. You might want to be Superman and stop the war, but you cannot, okay? So I don't want to get too political here. I'm not there are other videos for that, but focus on doing good as far as you're able. Maybe you're worried about climate change. Grow a garden, okay? Or, do something to work on your career, to push it towards a more environmentally friendly option. My mind just went completely blank as soon as I said that, but focus on doing good as far as you're able and allow yourself to understand that not everything is within your control, and that is difficult for me to say because I am a control freak and I want to solve all the problems. Like, if I could solve all the problems in the world by burning myself out, I would, because I tried and I couldn't. So, don't make everything your responsibility. Number 3, vote. I have voted in every single election I was eligible for since I turned 18. This is one of the most important things you can do. I voted in not just general elections, also local elections, mayoral elections, other random elections that have like turnout of like 15%. I always vote, okay? I will always, either I have like a postal vote, or when I was at Durham, my dad would do like a proxy vote for me, thanks Dad, or I obviously show up in person, okay? So I always vote. It's really important that you vote, because if you're not taking part in the democratic process is going to happen anyway, okay? I heard a quote that was like, either you do politics or politics is going to do you. So, like, politics is going to happen regardless. You might as well have a say in it. Try and understand key issues from fact-check sources and be aware of political bias and use it as context. Obviously, your news sources matter because a lot of them have a political lean one way or another, and to an extent all human reporting has something of a scientific of a political lean. But if you can understand the perspective of the people who are reporting, then it helps you a lot in terms of understanding what's being reported, okay? Because I'm not saying don't listen to biased news sources. I listen to biased news sources all the time. I listen to politically biased news sources from a variety of political perspectives, but I understand that they are from those perspectives, okay? And I understand that this person is saying this because they understand it in this way, and this person is saying this because they understand it in this way. And these two sources give me different viewpoints of the issue, okay? So then I can kind of understand the issue from a variety of different perspectives. And fact-checking also, because sometimes people just lie. So try and understand key issues from fact-check sources. And finally, seek positive news. Okay, this is often downplayed, and this is a bias that happens across the political spectrum. News outlets love a disaster. They love a catastrophe, okay? They will report on, for example, oh, you know, there was an air accident, and then everyone's like freaking out about an air accident. But if they wrote an article saying, you know, 40,000 flights today landed safely, everybody would be like, that's boring. And nobody would read the article because what's happening? Like, there's no drama, the flight's landed, right? But if they're like, oh no, this one aircraft crashed, then everybody's going to be like, oh no, this is a disaster. You know, this is like, and there's going to be like, and obviously it's really important to report on those cases because that kind of gives you a lesson into what went wrong and how you can fix it. But the point is that the vast majority of positive news goes unreported because the negative news is so much easier to sensationalize, and it gets clicks, it gets views, okay? So that's just how the media works. So seek positive news, and there are like positive news email digests that you can sign up for and sites that you can visit, okay? There are a lot of positive things going on in the world if you can look for them. And I think once I learned to kind of seek those sources out, it did help me out a lot. Alright, so that's how not to let the news affect you negatively in a mental way, mentally in a negative way. That works. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you're not letting yourself get too stressed, because at the end of the day, you have to look after your mental health. You have to look after yourself first. And if you're freaking out and having a panic attack in the corner because you read the news too much, I hate to break it to you, but you're not making a difference in any way, okay? So you need to look after yourself first, and I speak from experience because this is me. So I hope that you're not letting the news stress you out. I hope this video has been helpful. If you're not already subscribed, be sure to do that. Give this video a thumbs up. Follow me on Instagram. I will see you guys next time. Okay, bye.